Ladies, gentlemen, and everybody in between that, welcome on into the video. Hi, howdy. Today we're going to be covering something a little serious, and I hate covering topics like this, talking about a terrible content creator who does terrible things, because, frankly, it's terrible vibes. It's just not a great thing to talk about, but I feel like this is something that needs to be discussed, and it all revolves around a content creator that some of you may recognize that goes by the name of Ruben. He's a really interesting case, really, because on paper, the things that he does for content are a good thing. He's a content creator who goes on games like Roblox, and he hunts down predators, and if you know Roblox, it's a game full of children. So there are going to be people who go on and try to hunt down children because they're freaks and they are terrible human beings. And Ruben Sim's goal, or his goal on paper, is to hunt down these predators. And of course, we've seen this a million times before. It's just to catch a predator, but in the form of a YouTuber or a Kick streamer or a Twitch streamer. And what I've noticed recently is this guy has started to throw around baseless allegations at people who honestly hold zero proof of being a predator just because of groups that they associate with. One of the big ones being furries. I'm not a furry and I'm not a part of any furry community, but I also think that if you're just gonna be someone who likes to dress up as a dog, I don't care. Like, that's awesome, you do you. But he's been doing these recent attacks where he'll target these groups and call them schmetophiles just for being a member of a group that likes to dress up funny. It's weird, and I want to dig into it in this video, but of course, some of you might not know who this Ruben Sim fella is, and that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to do a little bit of a quick explanation. See, you might recognize his name if you don't actually know him as a YouTuber already, and that's because he actually got into a bit of controversy before this. I believe like a year ago, you might have heard of him in a Moist Critical video, where he got in trouble with Roblox themselves. He got in trouble with the game, and they sued him for what I believe is 1.3 million schmackaroos, which is a lot of shmoneys. Apparently that number was actually chosen because it was the amalgamation of all the money he would have ever earned on YouTube, which is hilarious to think that they were just like, take it all, rip it all out of his bank account. And the reasoning behind this lawsuit was actually a growing list of things, but one of the big ones was apparently he had created allegations against a Roblox staff member for posting NSFW images of himself on a forum, which is actually true, by the way. That Roblox employee did post NSFW images of himself on a private forum that no one can usually access, which is, regardless of it being private, still problematic. It's not a good thing, but the issue with what Ruben did was he kind of built a hate mob of people to go and all attack this guy, rather than handle it like a normal human being, which seems to be a reoccurring issue with this guy, is handling things like a normal human being. There's also other things in the allegation, like apparently a shooting threat at YouTube headquarters, a bombing threat at, I think, YouTube headquarters as well, and just various racial and homophobic slurs that he likes to sling in games, which just sounds like any average Roblox player above the age of 17. But I think the main big issue with him is the idea that he threw together hate mobs to attack people, even if there was no conclusive evidence that they were a predator. It's kind of just like, I got a bad vibe from this guy, let's have 100 people jump him. And it's not a good thing, you know? Like, I feel like going after these people is great. Attacking predators, that's awesome. But I feel like if you're going to start throwing attacks at people without any actual solid evidence, you're a waste of space in that part of the internet, because how can we trust anything you say if half the things you say aren't true at all? And it's kind of funny because Ruben actually had to promise in the lawsuit that he wouldn't make false threats of terroristic activity relating to Roblox or just false allegations regarding Roblox themselves, which is funny because I assume that now that he's been sued by Roblox, he thought the only second best thing he could do was attack a community that isn't organized because they can't fight back, which is, I assume, why he's mainly attacking furries now. And that now transitions us into what I'll be talking about today and the main topic of this video, which is the stuff that went down on letwitter.com, also known as Elon's hell site, where I saw a user named Jersey Furry who said, "I'm officially done talking about Ruben Sim. I just had 7 of his followers message me disturbing stuff, including gore, CP, pictures of my house, and other personal stuff. And judging by their finishing message, they're probably in a cult." Which you can see, every message ends with W Ruben LU. This one's, of course, terrible. That's scary. 2 rifles sitting on a bed in my home address. W Ruben LU, W Ruben LU, W Ruben LU. Which is crazy that, like, you have fans that crazy. Like, that's a problem in itself. Not being able to quell your fans, you're just as bad as Dream was. Like, I get that you can't control everyone, especially when you're a YouTuber like Ruben Sim, who has 1.12, I believe, million subscribers. That's a huge number, that's a huge amount of people, and a huge amount of unstable human beings who could do things that you don't want them to do. But the issue is, he's never spoken out against this. In fact, he's openly encouraged it in videos before. So it's like, what are we supposed to do here? If anything, you're a part of this, indirectly, but also sort of directly in this instance. But of course, I know you're probably itching at the chin like a crack addict, wondering what could Jersey Furry could have possibly done to warrant such backlash? What terrible acts could they have committed? Well, they link it in the tweet. Apparently what happened was Jersey Furry had called out Ruben for using a picture of a furry that had been dead for the past 10 years as a reference for various furries on Roblox who are predators. Which is crazy, because that image of that furry not only had been dead for the past 10 years, but is not a Roblox player or a predator at all. But of course, this isn't the end of this situation. It goes even deeper. I saw another post from a user named DanielTG85 that was calling out Ruben Sim and adding YouTube, being like, hey, guys, he's sending his fans to harass people, and also used an image of a guy who died. Same instance we already just discussed. And Ruben Sim actually had a response. He responded with a very informative response of, YouTube, don't listen to this guy. He follows Furry Prawn on main, which is this account here, which then Daniel responds saying it's a private account and no one outside of their followers can view the content, and using this as an excuse to continue mocking and harassing furry community is literally doing nothing. It's true. He essentially just said, I'm not doing bad. Look at that guy. There's porn over there. Look at that. Look at that. It doesn't resolve the situation, and if anything, he's just dodging the allegations. And then Ruben Sim comes back with this post that made me so mad. Like, it's one of the reasons I made the video, really, where he just says, in the past 24 hours, furries have spammed prawn to my underage followers, tried to extort me by threatening to swap my family, tried to get my YouTube channel deleted, this was you, which he was just telling YouTube this guy was a problem, and tried to get Roblox to sue me for copyright, while I've posted funny tweets. Now, this is so interesting. People were calling this a victim complex, and being a psychology major myself, I think he's just stupid. I think mainly what he was doing was trying to turn this around because he has followers who will listen to everything he says. And so what I assume is happening is Ruben Sim's just praying that the people who do complain about him don't get enough traction for it to go viral, and so he can just continue spouting bullshit to his fans, and they'll listen because they know him, and furries are a different thing. They don't understand it, they don't trust it, and so of course it's not going to be what they believe. It's almost like he's abusing the trust of minors to get them to follow what he says. Which sounds quite troubling, Ruben. And the whole I just post funny tweets thing is rich, because I found some tweets from him and they are just baffling. There's this one where he said, not gonna lie, this avatar's pretty funny, which I don't even need to explain myself. That's horrible. That's absolutely abhorrent. And I know that he can claim like, oh, it was a joke. I was being silly, guys. I was being a goofball. But anyone can claim that after saying something horrible and get away with it, with that mentality. And of course, when his fan base is made up of purely people who are just learning how to write their name in cursive, you're gonna have problems where they believe what he says, where they're gonna take what he says and take it seriously, and that is a whole other problem in itself. Of course, it's not Ruben's fault, but it's something he needs to take into consideration when you own a community like this. Our boy Uncle Ben had it found out years before this. With great power comes great responsibility. And our boy Ruben has about the same responsibility capacity as a dog who just ate the pizza and went to go shit in my room. He's just gonna do it again next time. And there's of course been other call-outs. I saw another post from Order for Snoobert, it's just a goofy name, that said that apparently they know this person who's in the chart personally, and they're just a YouTuber. Correction, I don't think he's a YouTuber, I think he's just a dude, which is even weirder that he got targeted, who specifically avoids things like Roblox because of all the terrible things that happened on it. So it's like, was there any research done for this video, or does he just hate furries? It's probably just that he hates furries, which honestly I can't even get him for. If you hate a group, sure, whatever, but of course, don't sick 1 million people on him. That's more of a problem. And the thing is, I'm not some furry guardian. I'm not here to defend all furries. I just really dislike, I would even say I hate. I like to use the word hate sparingly. I genuinely hate people who go out of their way to spread baseless negativity about people for the sake of spreading baseless negativity. Creating hate groups with their influence is one of the most disgusting things I see in the content creator space today, and I had to call it out because this sucks. These are children who are extremely malleable. They're brave. If you press on the middle part of their head, it'll sink in. They'll turn off. It's their off button. And so when you're able to create an audience of hate like this, it's disgusting. It's terrible. And it's something I had to call out. And it's always even more irritating when the asshole of interest posts shit like this. I understand the I can't take this negativity, I'm gonna deactivate soon, why everyone's so flipping mean to me is satire. He's joking. But he's just trying to put layers of joke over the terrible things he's been doing. It doesn't make it better. You're still putting satire over creating a hate mob. Like, that's still there. But of course, justice has been served to a certain extent. There was a tweet that was posted by BlueFulf telling Team YouTube, hey, can you guys do something about this guy? He's creating hate mobs, he's harassing people, and YouTube responded, saying, we've shared this with the team and we'll take the next steps from here. Thank you for flagging. And since then, the video of interest has been taken down. I don't know if YouTube took it down or if Ruben himself took it down, but the video is no longer public. And alongside that, Ruben issued an apology. Except it was not an apology at all. In fact, it was actually there to stoke the fire. He said, I'm sorry, and I'm extending a formal apology to the furry community, but instead of actually apologizing, what he does is essentially say, my bad, I classified your prawn addiction wrong. You guys are still freaks, which, I mean, whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to expect this guy to apologize. I don't think he's going to come forward and do something of quality because I think that he's just is trying to uphold a dying career. Because what I learned while doing all the research for this was during the lawsuit, that initial lawsuit we talked about earlier in the video, he apparently isn't allowed to play Roblox anymore on YouTube. So it seems that what's happening, and it seems what I've been able to deduce, call me Bruce Wayne, Le Batman, his career is dying. And the only thing he could do to hold on to what he had was talk about people on Roblox and try and slander people for the sake of views, because he can't actually play the game and make funny videos anymore. And so, of course, now we have posts like this, with people saying, I miss when Ruben Sim wasn't a miserable loser that dwells on Roblox and its issues, because all he can do now is create hate. All he can do now is be a hateful loser because he can't play the game that made him famous. And if he tries to get off of Roblox, you know how it's like for content creators, you know, Ruben, you fail. And so all he's going to do is continue to be a hateful loser and continue to create a hate mob and slowly fall off and slowly diminish into irrelevancy. It's sad. It sucks. But it seems like it's just where things are going to go for him. And, you know, honestly, call it karma. That's the end of the situation. I appreciate you guys watching with me, sitting and sitting, doing both at the same time. I appreciate you guys spending some time with me, and I appreciate if you subscribe if you are new, and like the video if you liked it. But for now, I'm going to be hitting the road. Thank you for being absolutely outstanding, and as always, adios, arrivederci, goodbye, good night, and see you later, Ruben.